All right, let's get ready for today's deep dive.
Sounds good.
Today we're going way up high
Okay.
into the world of riggers.
Right.
You're getting ready for an interview,
Yeah.
and I got to say, this is not your typical desk job.
No, not at
We're
all.
talking heavy lifting, crane signals, and the precise installation of massive objects.
For sure.
So you sent over a career guide, an interview guide packed with 10 sample questions and some info on this AI platform called RoleCatcher.
Right.
So let's get you ready to really impress those interviewers
Yeah.
and hook that rigger position.
It's a field where brains meet brawn, that's for sure.
Oh, yeah.
A rigger needs that physical strength to be able to handle those heavy loads,
Right.
but also the mental agility to problem solve on the fly,
Mm.
always prioritizing safety.
Definitely. The career guide really paints a vivid picture of this no 2 days are the same kind of job.
Yeah.
It mentioned construction sites, industrial settings, even potential for travel depending on the project.
Lots of variety.
Yeah, but before we get lost, daydreaming about exotic locales,
Right.
let's tackle those interview questions.
Okay.
First up, what experience do you have in rigging?
Mm-hmm.
Basic, right?
Yeah, deceptively so.
Yeah.
This is your opening move to really showcase the depth of your experience.
Okay.
Don't just list previous roles. Think action verbs, specific projects, the types of rigging you've tackled, and the equipment you've mastered. Quantify wherever you can mention the weight of loads, the heights you've worked at, the complexity of the systems. Really paint that picture of your capabilities for the interviewer.
So instead of just saying, I was a rigger for 5 years, I
Yeah.
can say, over 5 years, I specialized in rigging heavy machinery for industrial construction projects. I'm proficient in various rigging techniques, including choke hitches for securing irregular loads, and have experience calculating load weights and centers of gravity for safe lifts exceeding 10 tons.
Now you're talking. That's the kind of detail that makes an interviewer lean in. And be ready for follow-ups. They might ask you to describe a challenging rigging scenario and how you handled it, or they could ask about a specific technique you mentioned.
Speaking of challenges, the career guide mentioned that riggers often face unexpected obstacles on the job. Weather changes, equipment malfunctions, you name it. Sounds like thinking on your feet is a must-have skill.
Absolutely.
Okay, question 2. What are the main duties of a rigger? Seems pretty straightforward.
It is, but don't fall into that trap of giving a robotic list.
Right.
This is your chance to demonstrate that you understand the interconnectedness of riggers' duties.
Yeah.
How each task, from inspecting equipment to collaborating with crane operators, contributes to the safe and efficient movement of those heavy loads.
So instead of just saying inspect equipment, rig loads, communicate with the crane operator,
Mm.
I should paint a picture of the workflow. Something like a rigger's core duty is ensuring the safe and efficient movement of heavy loads. This involves meticulous pre-lift inspections, precise communication with the crane operator using hand signals, and a deep understanding of load distribution and rigging techniques to execute a flawless lift.
Excellent. You've woven those individual tasks into a cohesive narrative, showcasing your understanding of the bigger picture. And remember, safety should be a recurring theme throughout your answers.
Right.
It's the heart of a rigger's work.
Right, safety first. Now, before we jump to the next question, I'm curious about something from the career guide's advancing your career section.
Okay,
It mentioned that riggers can move into leadership roles like lead rigger or foreman.
right.
Do you think subtly highlighting leadership skills in the interview would be a good strategy?
Absolutely. Even if you're not applying for a leadership role right now, demonstrating those qualities can make you stand out. Think about times when you took initiative, mentored others, or contributed to a positive team dynamic. You can weave those examples into your answers.
Okay, I'll keep that in mind. On to question 3. What are the most common rigging techniques you have used before? I'm guessing they're trying to assess my practical experience here.
Precisely. They want to know what's in your toolkit, so to speak. List several techniques you're comfortable with and briefly explain how they're applied. Think choke hitches for securing irregular loads, basket hitches for distributing weight evenly, vertical hitches for simple lifts. Choose techniques relevant to the job you're applying for.
So, for example, I could say, I'm proficient in various hitches, including the choke hitch, which is essential for securing loads with irregular shapes, and the basket hitch, which distributes weight evenly across 2 slings for stability. I've also used vertical hitches for straightforward lifting operations.
Perfect. You're showcasing a range of techniques while demonstrating your understanding of when and why each one is used. Remember, it's not just about knowing the names, it's about knowing how to apply them safely and effectively.
All right, on to question 4. What is your experience in reading and interpreting rigging plans and drawings? Seems like a no-brainer for this job.
It's essential. Imagine trying to build a house from a blueprint you can't read. The interviewer wants to know if you can translate those technical drawings into real-world action. Describe a time when you had to interpret a complex rigging plan, maybe highlighting any challenges or adjustments you made based on the drawings.
So if I had to, say, rig a large piece of machinery using a multi-point lift, I could describe how I analyzed the plan, identified the load center of gravity, and determined the appropriate sling angles and attachment points to ensure a safe and stable lift.
Exactly. You're demonstrating your ability to not just read the plan, but to understand its implications for the actual rigging operation.
Okay, question 5. What is your experience in maintaining and inspecting rigging equipment? This is all about safety and responsibility, right?
Absolutely. This question speaks to your commitment to maintaining a safe work environment. Demonstrate your knowledge of routine inspections, knowing when a piece of equipment is worn or damaged, and understanding those critical safety limitations.
So I could talk about my experience with pre- and post-lift inspections, following manufacturer guidelines, and knowing how to identify defects that could compromise safety. Maybe even mention the importance of proper documentation for accountability.
Exactly. That attention to detail will impress any interviewer. Now, before we move on, I was struck by something in the career guide. It mentioned the importance of networking for riggers, attending industry events, joining professional organizations. Why do you think that's so crucial in this field?
Well, it makes sense. The rigging field is constantly evolving with new technologies and safety regulations. Networking provides a way to stay current and learn from experienced professionals. Plus, it's a great way to discover new job opportunities and build connections within the industry. Okay, question 6. What is your experience in managing a team of riggers? I haven't had a formal management role yet, but
They're looking for leadership potential, even if you haven't been the boss. Think of times when you took on a leadership role on a project, maybe guiding less experienced colleagues or ensuring everyone followed safety protocols.
so I could talk about a time when I had to coordinate a team of riggers for a complex lift, delegating tasks and ensuring everyone understood the plan and safety procedures,
Hmm?
showcasing my communication and problem-solving skills.
Exactly. Leadership isn't always about a title, it's about initiative and teamwork. Now, let's talk about this RoleCatcher platform you mentioned.
Okay.
I was reading how it can help tailor your answers for specific job roles, which seems incredibly useful for someone like you prepping for this interview.
I was fascinated by that too. From what I understand, you can upload the job description to RoleCatcher, and its AI analyzes it, identifying the key skills and experience the employer is seeking.
Mm-hmm.
Then, it suggests relevant examples from your own work history to build strong answers.
It's like having a personal interview coach in your pocket, helping you craft answers that truly resonate with the employer's needs. It even provides feedback on your answers, pointing out areas for improvement and suggesting ways to make your responses even stronger.
That's amazing. Okay, back to the interview questions. Question 7. What is your experience in working with heavy loads and overhead cranes? I feel like this one's right in the rigger's wheelhouse.
It is, but don't underestimate the importance of showcasing your expertise. Go beyond just listing projects. Describe how you've worked closely with crane operators, maybe highlighting a challenging lift that required precise coordination and communication using hand signals.
For instance, I could describe a project where I had to rig and lift a massive piece of equipment using a tandem lift with 2 cranes. I could detail how I ensured clear communication with both crane operators, coordinated the lift sequence, and monitored the load's movement to ensure a safe and successful operation.
Excellent. You've painted a vivid picture of your experience working with cranes and heavy loads in a high-pressure situation.
Okay.
You've also highlighted your communication and teamwork skills, which are essential for any successful rigger.
All right, on to question 8. What is your experience in working with complex rigging systems? This sounds like they're stepping up the complexity.
They are. They want to see if you can handle the big leagues of rigging. Think about projects involving multiple lifting points, intricate sling configurations, or specialized equipment. Don't shy away from discussing challenges you faced and how you overcame them.
So if I worked on a project that involves lifting a prefabricated structure with multiple attachment points, I could describe how I designed the rigging system, ensuring load distribution, stability, and clearances. I could also explain how I addressed any unforeseen challenges, like adjustments needed due to wind conditions or site constraints.
Perfect. You're showcasing your ability to not just follow instructions, but to analyze, adapt, and solve problems on the fly.
Okay, question 9. What is your experience in working with specialized rigging equipment? I'm guessing they're looking to a breadth of knowledge here.
Exactly. It's about demonstrating your adaptability. Think about any specialized winches, hoists, slings, or sweater bars you've used.
Okay.
Maybe you have experience with hydraulic jacks for heavy machinery or specialized slings for delicate materials. Highlight any training or certifications related to that equipment.
So I could say something like, in addition to standard rigging gear, I'm experienced with using hydraulic gantries for lifting and moving extremely heavy objects in confined spaces. I've also received specialized training in the use of synthetic slings for lifting delicate loads where damage prevention is critical.
Now you're showcasing a diverse skill set and a commitment to expanding your knowledge. That's impressive.
Okay, we're on the final question. What is your experience in working with different types of materials for rigging? Okay. I imagine this is more than just knowing how to tie a knot. It's about understanding the properties of different materials.
You got it. Rigging steel beams is different from rigging delicate equipment. They want to know if you consider the weight, fragility, shape, and even the potential impact of weather on different materials.
So I could mention my experience rigging heavy steel components for a bridge construction project, emphasizing the need for robust rigging techniques and careful load distribution. Then I could contrast that with a time I rigged sensitive electronic equipment for a data center, highlighting the use of specialized slings and padding to prevent damage.
Excellent. You're showing a comprehensive understanding of how material properties dictate rigging choices.
Wow, we just tackled all 10 questions. I feel like I've got a much better grasp on how to approach them.
Great.
And I'm definitely going to check out RoleCatcher. It sounds like a game changer for interview prep.
Absolutely.
But before we wrap up this part of our deep dive, I'm curious about something from the career guide. It talked about the physical demands of being a rigger.
Right.
I mean, it's obvious it's a physically demanding job, but are there specific things I can do to prepare myself?
Absolutely. Maintaining physical fitness is paramount for a rigger.
Okay.
Focus on building strength, endurance, and flexibility. Compound exercises like squats, deadlifts, and overhead presses are excellent for building overall strength and mimicking the movements you'll be doing on the job.
So it's not just about hitting the gym, it's about choosing exercises that are relevant to the demands of the job. What about cardio?
Equally important, activities like running, swimming, or cycling can boost your stamina and endurance. Remember, a rigger's work involves long hours on your feet, often in challenging environments.
This deep dive is really opening my eyes to the multifaceted nature of this career path.
Yeah.
It's not just about physical strength, it's about mental agility, problem solving, and a constant awareness of safety.
Yeah.
I'm excited to learn more.
And there's so much more to explore. We've just scratched the surface of the rigging world.
Right.
In the next part of our deep dive, we'll delve deeper into those specializations mentioned in the career guide, the potential career paths for riggers, and how RoleCatcher can help you not just ace the interview, but also stand out in a crowded job market.
I can't wait.
Yeah. So picking up where we left off, let's explore those specializations within the rigging field.
Okay.
The career guide mentioned a few that caught my eye.
Right.
Mechanical rigging, for example, sounds like it involves a lot more than just brute strength.
It does. I was reading that mechanical rigging often focuses on installing and moving heavy machinery, which requires a deep understanding of mechanical systems.
Right.
Think gears, pulleys, hydraulics, the inner workings of those massive machines.
Exactly.
They even mentioned working in confined spaces, which adds another layer of complexity.
Yeah, it's a niche where your mechanical aptitude really shines. Then there's construction rigging, which is probably what most people picture when they think of riggers.
Right, the ones scaling those skyscrapers and bridges. The career guide emphasized the importance of structural knowledge in construction rigging, understanding load distribution, stress points, and how those massive components fit together. Plus, working alongside various other trades on a bustling construction site.
Yeah.
Talk about a dynamic environment.
Definitely not a job for the faint of heart. And for those who crave a bit more flair, there's rigging for the entertainment industry.
Now that sounds fascinating. I imagine it's a whole different world. Rigging stages, lighting, sound systems for concerts, theaters, even acrobatic equipment. Precision and safety are still paramount, but there's also an element of creativity and spectacle.
It's where the technical meets the artistic. You're not just moving heavy objects, you're contributing to creating a captivating experience for an audience.
Okay, so we've got mechanical whizzes, construction gurus, and entertainment specialists all under the rigging umbrella. Regardless of the specialization, safety remains the top priority, right?
Absolutely. A rigger's reputation is built on their commitment to safety. It's not just about protecting yourself, it's about safeguarding everyone on the job site.
Right.
And that brings us back to those interview questions, specifically those designed to assess your safety consciousness and decision-making skills under pressure.
Right. The next question in the interview guide is, describe a time when you had to make a difficult decision on a rigging job. What factors did you consider? This one feels heavy, like they're really trying to gauge my judgment.
They are. This is where you demonstrate that you can think critically, weigh risks, and make decisions that prioritize safety above all else. Think of a time when you faced a challenging situation on the job. Maybe the weather suddenly changed, a piece of equipment malfunctioned, or you discovered a potential hazard in the rigging plane.
Like, say, I discovered a crack in a load-bearing beam just before a major lift. That's a showstopper.
Absolutely. Walk the interviewer through your thought process. How did you identify the problem? What steps did you take to assess the risk? Who did you consult with? How did you communicate the issue and ensure everyone's safety? And finally, what solution did you propose?
I would immediately halt the operation, cordon off the area, and report the issue to my supervisor and the relevant safety personnel. Then I would work with the team to develop a plan for safely removing or reinforcing the damaged beam before proceeding with the lift.
Perfect. You've demonstrated a clear understanding of safety protocols and your ability to take decisive action in a critical situation. And remember, be prepared for follow-up questions. They might ask about the lessons you learned from the experience or how you applied that knowledge to future projects.
Okay, so stay calm, assess the situation, communicate clearly, and prioritize safety above all else.
Got it. The next question focuses on professional development. How do you stay up to date on the latest safety regulations and rigging techniques?
This is where you showcase your commitment to continuous learning. The rigging field is constantly evolving, so demonstrating that you're proactive and staying current is key.
I can certainly mention that I regularly attend industry conferences and workshops, especially those focused on new technologies and safety advancements.
Excellent. Go beyond the generic and mention specific publications you follow, like trade journals or online forums. You can also mention any professional organizations you belong to, like the National Commission for the Certification of Crane Operators, NCCCO. And if you have any specialized certifications, highlight those as well. Right. I'm certified to operate a variety of rigging equipment, and I regularly participate in refresher courses to keep my skills sharp and my knowledge current.
That's exactly the kind of detail that will impress an interviewer. And be prepared to answer follow-up questions about specific regulations or techniques. They want to see that you're not just aware of changes, but that you understand their practical implications.
The next question in the interview guide shifts gears to teamwork. Describe your experience working with crane operators. How do you ensure clear communication and a safe working environment?
This one's all about highlighting your ability to collaborate effectively in a high-stakes environment.
Right.
Remember, a rigger is only one part of a well-coordinated team.
Absolutely. I've worked on numerous projects where seamless communication with the crane operator was crucial. I can describe a specific instance where we had to execute a complex lift in a confined space, relying heavily on hand signals and precise coordination to ensure the load was moved safely and efficiently.
Perfect. Emphasize the importance of pre-lift briefings, visual aids, and two-way radios for maintaining constant communication. And don't forget the human element. Building a rapport with the crane operator based on trust and mutual understanding is essential.
Before we move on, I wanted to touch on something from the career guide that resonated with me. The idea of mentorship in the rigging field.
Yeah.
It seems like the experienced riggers play a crucial role in guiding and training the next generation.
Mentorship is invaluable.
Yeah.
It's how knowledge and experience are passed down, ensuring that safety practices and industry standards are maintained. A good mentor can help you navigate the challenges of the job, provide valuable insights, and accelerate your professional growth.
Speaking of challenges, the next interview question focuses on handling safety hazards. Tell me about a time you had to deal with a safety hazard on a rigging job. What steps did you take? This one feels like they're trying to assess my vigilance and problem-solving skills.
They are. Be ready with a specific example that showcases your ability to identify potential hazards, assess risks, and take decisive action to mitigate them. Did you ever encounter a frayed sling, an unsecured load, an obstruction in the crane's path?
Once, during a routine inspection, I discovered a damaged shackle on a sling.
Hmm.
I immediately removed the sling from service, tagged it as defective, and reported the issue to my supervisor. We reviewed the manufacturer's guidelines and replaced the shackle with a new one that met the required specifications.
Excellent example. You've demonstrated your understanding of inspection procedures, your commitment to following safety protocols, and your willingness to take action to prevent a potential accident. And remember, be prepared to discuss the outcome of the situation and any lessons learned.
Okay, always be vigilant, follow procedures, and never compromise on safety. Got it. Now, the next question is one that always makes me a bit nervous. What are your salary expectations?
It's a question that can be intimidating, but it's an important part of the interview process. The key is to be prepared, do your research, and approach it with confidence and professionalism.
I've been looking at industry salary surveys and job postings, but it's hard to pinpoint an exact number.
You're on the right track. Utilize resources like RoleCatcher, which can provide salary data based on your location, experience level, and the specific demands of the job. And when answering the question, it's generally best to provide a salary range rather than a fixed number.
So instead of saying, I expect a salary of $6, I should say something like, based on my research and experience, I'm targeting a salary range of $6 to dollars.
Exactly. It shows you're flexible and open to negotiation. You can also add, however, I'm also open to discussing the overall compensation package and benefits offered.
That makes me feel a lot more comfortable. And if they ask me to justify my expectations,
Be prepared to articulate your value proposition. Highlight your skills, experience, certifications, and any unique qualities you bring to the table. Demonstrate your understanding of the job market and your worth within that market.
okay, I can do that. Confidence is key. Now, before we tackle the next question, I'm curious about something from the career guide that mentioned the future of rigging and how technology might impact the industry.
It's an exciting time for the field. Advancements in automation, robotics, and 3D modeling are changing the way rigging operations are planned and executed.
So does that mean robots are going to replace riggers?
Not necessarily. While some tasks may become automated, the role of the rigger will likely evolve to include more specialized skills and a deeper understanding of these technologies. Think operating robotic lifting devices, interpreting complex 3D models, or managing automated rigging systems.
So it's about adapting and embracing these advancements to stay ahead of the curve.
Exactly. The future of rigging will require a blend of traditional skills and cutting-edge knowledge. Those who are proactive in learning and adapting will be in high demand. Now let's move on to the next interview question, which focuses on your motivation. Why are you interested in this particular rigging position?
This one seems straightforward, but I imagine there's more to it than just saying, it seems like a cool job.
You're right. This is your chance to showcase your enthusiasm for the company and the role itself. Go beyond generic statements and highlight specific aspects of the job description that resonated with you.
For example, if the position involves working on large-scale infrastructure projects, I could express my passion for contributing to projects that have a tangible impact on the community.
Exactly. Research the company's projects, their values, their safety record.
Okay.
Demonstrate that you've done your homework and you're genuinely excited about the opportunity to join their team.
Okay, I'll definitely do my research and tailor my answer accordingly. Now, the next question is one that always feels a bit like walking a tightrope. What are your strengths and weaknesses as a rigger?
It's a classic interview question, but it doesn't have to be a minefield. Be honest, be specific, and focus on framing your weaknesses as areas for improvement.
For strengths, I can highlight my attention to detail, my problem-solving abilities, my strong work ethic, and my unwavering commitment to safety.
Excellent. And for weaknesses, choose something that's not critical to the job and demonstrate how you're actively working to improve. For example, if you're not as familiar with a specific type of rigging software, you could mention that you're currently taking a course to enhance your skills.
So turn a potential negative into a positive by showcasing my willingness to learn and grow. I like that approach. What about follow-up questions?
They might ask for specific examples that illustrate your strengths or how you've overcome a weakness in the past.
Okay.
Be prepared to tell stories that showcase your skills and your dedication to continuous improvement. And remember, it's all about self-awareness and a genuine desire to become a better rigger.
All right, on to what's often considered the final and most crucial question of any interview. Do you have any questions for us?
This is your opportunity to shine one last time. It's your chance to gather information that will help you make an informed decision, but it's also a chance to demonstrate your thoughtfulness and your eagerness to learn more.
Should I focus on salary and benefits, or is that too forward at this stage?
It's best to save those topics for later in the hiring process. Instead, ask questions that demonstrate your interest in the company's culture, the team you'll be working with, and the specific challenges and opportunities of the role.
Okay, so I could ask about the company's safety culture, their commitment to training and professional development, or the types of projects I might be involved in.
Exactly. You can also ask about the company's vision for the future, their leadership style, or the opportunities for advancement within the organization. Be curious, be engaged, and show them that you're not just looking for a job, but a place where you can thrive and contribute your talents.
Wow, we've covered a lot of ground today, from exploring the diverse specializations within rigging to dissecting those interview questions. I'm feeling much more prepared and confident about tackling that interview.
And remember, we're not done yet. In the final part of our deep dive, we'll take a closer look at the RoleCatcher platform and how it can help you not just prepare for the interview, but also stand out from the competition and land that dream job.
I'm excited to see what other insights RoleCatcher has to offer.
Yeah.
Let's dive in. Okay, so we spent a lot of time talking about how to answer the interview questions,
Right.
but now let's talk about actually landing the interview.
Yeah.
And that's where RoleCatcher comes in, right?
Exactly. It's not enough to just ace the interview. You got to get the interview first.
Right.
And in today's competitive job market, that means making sure your resume really stands out from the crowd.
Okay.
And that's where RoleCatcher's AI can be a real game changer.
I was reading how its AI can actually analyze a job description and then help tailor your resume to match what they're looking for. It's like it's playing matchmaker between you and the perfect rigging job.
It really is. The AI identifies those key skills and keywords that are emphasized in the job description, and then it suggests how to adjust your resume to really highlight those specific areas.
So it's like having a personal resume editor who understands exactly what employers are looking for. That's incredible. And you mentioned it can even score your resume against the job requirements, giving you a rating on how well you match up.
That's right. It's like getting a sneak peek into how an applicant tracking system, or ATS, might view your resume. And that can help you identify any areas where you might be falling short and make adjustments to increase your chances of getting past those initial screening systems.
That's such a valuable tool, especially when you're competing with so many other qualified candidates. Anything that can give you an edge is worth exploring. And we touched on this earlier, but RoleCatcher can also help you prepare for those behavioral interview questions, right?
Absolutely.
The ones where they ask you to describe a specific situation and how you handled it.
Exactly. You can actually select the type of behavioral question that you're practicing for, and RoleCatcher's AI will suggest relevant examples from your own work history that you can use to craft that compelling answer.
Wow.
It even helps you frame your experiences in a way that really highlights those specific skills and qualities that the employer is looking for.
So it sounds like RoleCatcher is a must-have for anyone serious about landing a rigging job. It's like having a personal career coach guiding you through every step of the process, from crafting the perfect resume to acing the interview.
It is. I wholeheartedly agree. It's a game changer for job seekers, providing that personalized guidance and support every step of the way. And the best part is, it's accessible to everyone.
Well, this has been an incredible deep dive into the world of riggers. We've explored the skills, the challenges, the specializations, and even some high-tech tools that can help you succeed. What are your final words of wisdom for anyone embarking on this career path?
Well, I'd say embrace the challenge. Rigging is a demanding but rewarding profession. Never stop learning, stay updated on those industry trends and safety practices, and always prioritize safety above all else. And remember, there's a supportive community of riggers out there willing to share their knowledge and experience. Don't hesitate to reach out and connect with them.
That's great advice. And for our listeners who are prepping for that big interview, remember to showcase your strength, your problem-solving skills, and your unwavering commitment to safety. Be specific, provide concrete examples, and let your passion shine through.
And don't forget to check out RoleCatcher. It can be an invaluable tool for refining your resume, practicing those interview responses, and ultimately landing that dream job.
Thank you so much for joining us on this incredible deep dive into the world of riggers. We hope you found it informative, inspiring, and empowering.
It's been my pleasure.
And to all our listeners out there, keep reaching for those heights. We'll catch you on the next deep dive where we explore another fascinating career path.